Right, we've finished the spotty section of our tea-cosy, and we've just done the 3 rounds where we've purled, knit, purled, holding the 2 yarns together and purling and knitting, or purling or knitting the pairs of stitches together. So in effect what we've done is put ourselves right back to the beginning when we started off like that, if you remember, and what we've got to do now is go back to setting up our stitches for double knitting, because at the moment they're not set up for double knitting. So you've done that once already. The only difference this time is that we're going to be setting up in pattern. Okay, so you know about patterning, because patterning, I don't know if that's a word, you know about working patterns in double knit because you've worked spots all the way through here. But we're now going to work in stripes, and I want the stripes to go right to the base or to this sort of border part, which means we need to set up the stitches in pattern, okay, so that you can start the striping from the get-go. It's really easy because the stripes are uniform all the way around. They're 3 stitches for each colour, alternating all the way around. So all it means is just sort of setting up 3 knit stitches in one colour and then switching in the 3 knit stitches in the next colour, and doing that all the way around, and you know, making sure the partner, the purl partner, is the opposite colour. But let me just show you, just in case it's kind of left you scratching your head a bit. So the other difference is we're going to say goodbye to zinnia now. I've broken zinnia, as you can see. We're not going to be using that for the top part of the tea-cosy because we're going to have a nice contrast with the avocado and mineral stripe on our zinnia outside of the teapot. Tea-cosy. So I've broken off the zinnia, and that's going to be replaced with the mineral going forward. So what that means is I'm going to start by knitting into the avocado part of the stitch with the avocado yarn, and then purling into the zinnia part of the stitch with the mineral yarn. So let's do one of those and see how that looks, because we've obviously got to join in a new yarn, and we've not done that before. Right, so this will be familiar. Make sure the yarns are at the back of the work, and of course I've messed that up completely, but I've sorted it. I've sorted it with a bit of sleight of hand. So yarns at the back of the work. I'm knitting the avocado part of the stitch with the avocado yarn. I'm now bringing the yarn forward because I'm going to purl. I've only got 1 yarn at the moment, but don't worry, we're going to rectify that. So I'm putting my needle into the zinnia part of the stitch as if to purl. And I'm going to get my mineral yarn and do nothing more complicated than just putting a loop around the needle, just like so. Okay, there's no sort of sewing in of ends or joining in early or anything like that. Just going to purl with a little loopy part. Now it does mean that things are a little loose to begin with, but they will soon tighten up, and at the end we'll sew those yarns in and they will be perfectly secure. So it's all you need to do to join that new yarn in, and then off you go in the normal way. So yarns go to the back when we're knitting. So I've got 1 avocado stitch, and as I mentioned, each stripe is made of 3, so I need to do 2 more of these partners. And I'm just gonna move these stitches around a bit because they always sort of fall incorrectly. They fall so the bit that you want to knit is behind the bit that you want to purl. So don't, you know, you can always maul them about a bit to get them in the right position. So going in knitwise into avocado and knitting it with avocado. I'm bringing, it's very squishy, this yarn, and it sort of bounces the stitches forward and off the ends of the needle, I found. Have you found that? I don't know. And I'm going to, purl the zinnia part, but purling it with mineral. All right, so that's 2 pairs, and we want 1 more like this. So you can see I've got 1, 2 and 3 avocado knit stitches and 1, 2 and 3 mineral purl stitches. So that to me is the beginning of a stripe. It's a foundation of a stripe, let's call it that. But that is a complete stripe, so I now need to reverse my colourway, else we're not going to get any contrast. So now I will be knitting the zinnia in mineral. Okay, so I'm just trying to get my needle into there. Just hold that cable out of the way, and knit zinnia, and then yarn forward and purl avocado. Got a little break in my yarn here, and it's entirely my fault. Okay, and then knit one more zinnia, and again my stitch is quite tight and the zinnia is at the back, so just having to give that a little pull. After this it becomes easy. It's the setup. You might remember from last time it can be a little fiddly, but after this it's easier. Yarn forward and avocado. How many have we got? Let me look. Got 2 there. And the last for this stripe, oh goodness, knit in the mineral and purl in avocado. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so if I can, I don't know why this reminds me of sweet corn and peas, but it does. Everything reminds me of food. If I can just try and separate very, very slightly, it's very tricky, but this was our first stripe. You can see 1, 2, 3 avocado knit stitches with corresponding purl mineral stitches, and now I've switched it. You can see 1, 2, 3 mineral knit stitches and 1, 2, 3 partnered purl avocado stitches. So it looks a little odd because every so often you've got 2 stitches of the same colour together. That's exactly as it should be. You need to work all the way around the top like this so that you're setting up with your 3 stitches, 3 stitches, 3 stitches, alternating colours all the way around the first round, and then we can knit those stripes from the get-go. So I'm going to do that and then just show you how easy it is to knit the stripes. Okay, I've worked all the way around now and picked up, knit or purled the stitches in the order they need to be to create the stripes. When you glance at it, it doesn't look like anything, does it? It doesn't look like there's any way that is going to become stripes. But what is nice about the stripe pattern moving forward is that it is absolutely unchanging. So however those stitches appear on this needle now, providing you've set it up correctly, obviously, that's the pattern you're going to follow until the end of the project. So, you know, off you go, really. So I've got an avocado knit here. I will avocado knit it. And when I see a mineral purl, I will mineral purl. And when those situations are reversed, I will reverse them. So there is not a lot of thinking, which I like very much when it comes to anything at all. Not a lot of thinking. The setup round that we've just done, that's your thinking part for the rest of the pattern on here, really. So that's nice to know, isn't it? You've done the hard work. You can do the fun bit now, which is the knitting part. So you will also know if you've set it up correctly, because it won't be right when you get to the end of the needle. But my advice will be to make sure you check as you go along, because there's nothing worse, is there? Nothing worse than having to unpick a whole needle's worth of work. Can you see now I'm switching? I'm now onto a mineral knit. So I'm just following the lead of my setup, and that's all I need to do. Yes, so that's it. I don't think there's much more you need on this part. Off I go.